Werner Herzog's films were a really big influence on me. For me, he's kind of the last of the great, like, 70s, not just German New Wave filmmakers, but just great filmmakers. I had written a part with him in mind, thinking about him. In his work more than anyone's, I always kind of identified with the filmmaking style and also the characters and his approach to storytelling.
Werner has a really good sense of humor. He doesn't, is famously has no understanding of irony. So he takes everything completely literal. No matter what you say, he takes it literal. It's almost like being colorblind. He prides himself on not understanding any type of irony. He's the least ironic and the most sane director that I know. I used to call him up all the time on his phone in the 90s, and I would pretend to be a rug salesman. And sometimes I could sit there for he would sit on the phone with me 20, 30 minutes thinking I was a rug salesman. I'd sell him 4 or 5 different rugs.
Yeah, Herzog's just like one of my, he's like almost like he's a huge influence as a person, and as a kid growing up, his movies meant a lot to me. I mean, his movies still mean a lot to me.
Which ones in particular were the most?
Oh, I love almost all his films, but the ones that I really were just most blown away by, I was always the Bruno S movies. Were the Kinski films I love, but the Bruno S movies were just Strozak was a huge deal. Every Man for Himself and God Against All, like those, and even Dwarf Started Small. Land of Silence and Darkness, like those films were really to see that type of that kind of weird mishmash of of truth and fiction, and then realize that that there was a potion to it, that neither one of them on their own really was a big deal, but together there was something really trying to figure out what was true and what wasn't true.
Right.
And then you're almost like wow, you're left with something so grand, you know what I mean? So, and way it happened was he it was with Gummo. He had this guy Tom Luddy, who ran the San Francisco Film Festival or Telluride Film Festival, showed him before it came out. Herzog had screened the film for him, and I was just sitting in my house, and I picked up the phone, and it was Herzog, and he was like, I've just seen your movie. It is the most audacious debut. He was like, you were the last foot soldier in the army. Yeah, and then we became friends, and he was, I started casting him in my films, and just as always, he's kind of just a good friend. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Werner is he really does. His work ethic is insane.
It's always work.
He's there's 10 of him.